Welcome, everyone, to the Women in Podcasting Show. My name is Jennifer Henczel, and today I have speaking strategist Bri Williams with me today, and she helps expert entrepreneurs launch speaking businesses, become paid speakers, and market their offers from dream stages. After nearly 20 years in talent development, she began her paid speaking career utilizing her learning and coaching experiences to speak on diversity, leadership, and women's development through speaking conferences and executive presence. Australian born, and after a decade of living in London, Bri is now based in the south of France. I'm excited to hear some of the tips that Bri has to share with us today.
Welcome to the Women in Podcasting Show. Enjoy inspiring stories, interesting interviews, and powerful strategies from women around the world. Jennifer Henczel spotlights today's top podcasters, new podcasters, and expert guests. Get tips for leveling up your life, gaining visibility, growing your business, monetizing your podcast, and so much more. We invite you to support women in finding their voice and sharing their passion. It's all about women empowering women.
Well, welcome, Bri. Thank you so much for being here with me. Now, we first met through Katie Brinkley's summit, and you did such a great session in her summit that I wanted to bring you on to the Women in Podcasting Show to share about paid speaking. And so thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here with you. And like I said, speaking in real time is always fun as well. I've watched your masterclasses, that's for sure.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. And so now so everybody knows you're in the south of France, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's pouring with rain right now and not at all the sunny, idyllic picture that a lot of people have. But yes, southwest of France, from Australia originally.
Tell us how you got started then in the speaking industry.
So I have been speaking for a very long time within a corporate function. I started out strangely, perhaps for some, studying counseling, and then went into HR/training, education. And throughout that, I always focused on communication, and the topic that I taught more often than not was presentation skills, and then got into leadership and executive content like that. So I have been speaking for a very long time. And when my adventure brought me over to France about 5 years ago now, I started my own business, and I was focused on the speaking side of things and supporting as a public speaking coach. And I thought that was a perfect time to go out there and start making the most of what was my internal experience and working with clients as well. So I mainly speak for corporates who are looking for leadership and public speaking speakers, and also the coaching that goes along with that as well. And of course, I thought that was just going to be super simple. I was, always presenting in my internal positions, and I had a lot of experience doing that. And then I had to figure out this marketing piece, which was the big challenge that a lot of new entrepreneurs face. So I turned to what felt most natural to me, and that was speaking. And that's a part of how you and I met. I've definitely utilized speaking to market my business and turn that into paid speaking as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, good for you. So can you give us some tips then? Give our listeners some tips about getting paid speaking gigs.
So a lot of people will sit in the space of using speaking to market their business. And of course, loads of people in your audience are already doing that. Podcasters, utilizing summits, and also free stages where you get to perhaps sell from stage as well, whether you run your own events or it's an industry type event. And the space when people are ready to move into paid speaking is typically when you're ready to add that as a line in your business. So really treating it as another income stream, and that includes strategy, messaging, and the processes around that. So the marketing, the sales, the operations that support that. So it's not super sexy, in fact, but a lot of it beyond having that strategy and focusing on a particular stage and really getting your messaging down pat is creating these processes that make it repeatable, consistent, and also that build your brand as a speaker, as well as the expert that you've been building your brand as for however long you've been in business. So really those elements help to find the paid speaking, but of course, narrowing your focus is probably the thing that people struggle with the most. If you have an educator's background like I do, and like many confident speakers do, you probably have been asked to speak on a number of different topics. And of course you can, if you have that speaking confidence, you probably have an encyclopedic kind of, oh yeah, I could talk about this, or I could do that. And that can actually be a challenge in terms of finding paid speaking work, because you are essentially a trainer for hire, as opposed to a paid speaker that can then command higher fees, if you like. So it really does depend on what you're looking to get out of speaking. But if you want someone to say, hey, listen, we want you to come speak on, this particular topic, and really be known as an expert or a thought leader in that specific field or topic, then really narrowing your focus is the first step, and picking one, maybe two topics that you focus on, so you can really deepen your brand in that particular area.
Oh, that's helpful. Now, at different times before I became a full-time entrepreneur, my business was a side gig, and I worked full-time. And I had a number of different roles over the years, from corporate to nonprofit. And I had some of my roles were in HR and employee development, and we would hire speakers. And so one of the places we would tap into if we didn't have a direct referral was the speaker associations and things like that. Do you have anything you can tell us about that?
Up until this point, I have not been affiliated with any speaker associations. I'm based in France. My difficulty is that I'm not finding French speaking business. However, what I would say is, if you're based in North America, or if you are even in your home country, your native language, then the speaker associations are absolutely a great place to tap into, and not only to find those opportunities, but to also grow your speaking network, because referrals are a massive part of the speaking business. I know that if I can't do a gig for whatever reason, I have, 2 or 3 people that I reach out to regularly and say, hey, listen, I can't do this time or this date. Is this something that you'd be interested in? And it works the other way around as well. So if people know what you speak on, there was a really interesting stat that came through in Speakerflow's State of the Speaker Industry report from last year. We're looking forward to what comes through in the next report, but they were saying that 67% of the speakers surveyed were saying that the majority of their paid speaking opportunities came through referrals. So, before you worry about chasing leads or doing a bunch of cold outreach, that's really the number one place to tap into. Look at who you already know. And Jennifer, it's interesting you talk about your background, because I find that people who have an HR background, a corporate background, we seem to find each other. I know that Katie's background is also similar. And there's just something, I think, about the way that you present yourself based on the industry or the type of work that you've done previously that attracts people that have a similar background. And, so being very much yourself and tapping into your own style and what works can be a huge benefit as well when you do find yourself on those stages or those side of stage opportunities.
Referrals are my number one, so I agree with you 100%. So did you have any other tips for getting speaking gigs on podcasts or stages or anything like that?
The first tip I'd offer is just getting really clear on the stories that you want to share from the stage, and thinking about what is going to best communicate to your particular audience. So if you are someone who's speaking from stage to market your business, you're a coach or a course creator, a business owner, talking about the stories of transformation, people that you've been able to help previously, and really being able to speak to the details of that are going to help potential clients in the audience reach out to you. And of course, if what you're looking for is more speaking gigs, then obviously referring to other times when you've been on stage and the experience of working with you as a speaker is a great great thing to be able to do. And just really focusing on a couple of topics. So if you are pitching, if you are reaching out to people with different topics, see what gets you booked. You may have a couple of ideas up your sleeve, but oftentimes the market will tell you what they're interested in. So, go with what your audience, what your hosts, the event producers are really biting on, essentially. And once you get that first booking, look at what is a like audience or a like event. So if you get, like my client recently got a university gig, and I said, all right, so this university, this topic, where else can we go with this? We looked at similar universities, similar departments that would be looking for the same sort of talk that he delivered, so that we could turn that into more opportunities. Every opportunity should turn into more sales, more clients, more speaker bookings, because they're all out there.
That's a great tip. That's a really great tip. I know we did that with my husband in a way that has helped him go from an injured mill worker to an international speaker as well, gotten him on all kinds of stages from, universities to TEDx and all of that. So storytelling really is key. I love that tip. Mm. Yes. So where can people connect with you? Because you're an awesome guest. And here's the thing, you submitted such an amazing application. So we have an application process where people can submit their info. And I wanted you to come on the show anyways, so your application was pre-approved, but you filled it out so perfectly. Now, that's one of the things we should touch on maybe really quickly is, people need a hook. They need to have their brief bio. People that submit a 1.5-page bio to me, I know they aren't focused, right? They haven't refined it enough yet. That we're going to be able to have a proper discussion in a way that's going to be, beneficial to the audience in a short amount of time, right? Or shorter, right? And so, yeah, do you have anything you can say about that, what you're going to submit?
Yeah, so the pitch kit essentials, and of course there is a certain element of, you're using a lot of this information in a similar way for every application that you do. The hook, a title, your 100-word bio, typically. It's not going to be much more than that. If anything, your host might ask you for less than that. A couple of professional headshots, and then having a couple of questions that the host can ask you, or at least give some direction for the conversation where it's going to go. And what I would say is that you can have all of that information prepared in advance, and you may well utilize very similar information from application to application. But when you're looking at the podcast, when you're looking at the summit, for goodness sake, what's it all about? Are they talking about profit? Are they talking about growth, influence, visibility? What is it that they're really focused on in terms of these keywords? And it's kind of like doing a job application. If you just copy and paste things across, you can tell, right? If you spend a bit of time and really think about who the audience is and what would make it super easy for that host to put you in front of their audience, knowing that it's going to be a perfect match. That's how I'd approach it and how I encourage my clients to approach it.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. And when I get an application, it's so much easier to choose the person if they've got all their pieces in place, So even if someone doesn't have a signature talk, and you might be wanting to go on podcasts where most podcasts, you don't just deliver your full signature talk, but just going through the process of writing that out, and working through it and developing it. It's not about having a script, right? It's about getting all your wording and kind of economizing your words so that you can make the most impact in a concise way, right? Yeah. So how can people connect with you then? And because you're an excellent guest, and I can tell everybody the package you submitted to be a guest is outstanding. So how can people connect with you and have you as a guest or have you as do you do speaking coaching then?
I do. I offer speaking coaching. I have a program where people come and launch their speaking business. So if you are thinking about speaking to either market your business or paid speaking, I have the Pro Speaker Income Launch Program, which is a great launch pad to get the strategy, the messaging, including your signature talk, and also all of those processes in place in terms of marketing yourself as a speaker, contracts, all the fun stuff, right? Getting down to brass tacks with negotiating price, all of those things. I'd love to connect with anyone who's interested in any of those elements on LinkedIn. I'm Bri Williams, pro speaker. I'm sure the link is somewhere in around this video or this episode. And LinkedIn is really the place where I'd love to connect with you and ask me any questions that you have about your speaking interests, your expertise in the industry that you're trying to get into.
Yes, LinkedIn's so great. I think we're connected over there. Yeah, we're connected over there. And we have a women in podcasting group over there too on LinkedIn as well that's really growing rapidly. So yeah, all right. Yes, we will put all of your links in the show notes at womeninpodcasting.show. So thank you so much for being here today, Bri.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye for now.